Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Ling Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Investigators may have found the source of what led to the largest wildfire in the state so far this year, allegedly a PG&E power line. We hear about the lawsuit that's being filed against the once-bankrupt energy provider. The governor signed a bill into law that will provide state identification for illegal immigrants. He says it's to better provide health care for the individuals. The state's attorney general has taken over an ongoing alleged corruption case in Los Angeles. The case involves elected county officials. The move followed a probe by the sheriff's office. A transmission pole belonging to a Northern California utility company has been seized. Federal investigators believe it may be responsible for the Mosquito fire.
In a regulatory filing on Monday, U.S. Forest Service officials indicated to PG&E that an initial assessment showed the Mosquito fire started near one of its power lines on national forest lands. In an email statement to NTD, PG&E said, "While PG&E is conducting our own investigation into the events that led to the fire, we do not have access to the physical evidence that was collected as part of the USFS investigation over the weekend." The utility company is cooperating with the U.S. Forest Service investigation, which has yet to determine what caused the blaze. PG&E equipment has been blamed for several of California's deadliest wildfires in recent years. The utility pleaded guilty in 2019 to 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter for a 2018 blaze ignited by its long-neglected electrical grid that nearly destroyed the town of Paradise and became the deadliest U.S. wildfire in a century. PG&E filed for bankruptcy protection in 2019. But they emerged from bankruptcy in 2020 and negotiated a $13.5 billion settlement with some wildfire victims. But it still faces civil and criminal actions related to other fires. On Friday, a lawsuit filed in the San Francisco Superior Court alleges the Mosquito fire was ignited by PG&E's poorly maintained utility infrastructure. It states defendants have a history of acting recklessly and with conscious disregard to human life and safety, and this history of recklessness and conscious disregard was a substantial factor in bringing about the Mosquito fire. As of Monday, the Mosquito fire is over 76,000 acres and 85% contained.
We're doing an operation called backhaul throughout the fire, that's where we try and pull all of our excess equipment out and get all that stuff off the fire, and then the suppression repair on the west side where we do have open line. As we close that up, we'll be moving the resources around there to do the suppression repair to fix all the things that we need to fix.
The Mosquito fire is the largest in the state this year. Since September 6th, it destroyed at least 78 homes and other structures and charred forest land across Placer and El Dorado counties.
The governor signed a bill that grants illegal immigrants a state ID. The purpose is to give them easier access to California benefits.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed California IDs for All on Friday, allowing illegal immigrants to obtain a state ID. The purpose is to, quote, support immigrants, advance equity, and expand opportunity. It makes it easier for street vendors to get health permits, gives students better access to in-state tuition at public colleges and universities, helps low-income Californians to get legal assistance in civil matters, and more. In a statement, Newsom said, California is expanding opportunity for everyone, regardless of immigration status. We're a state of refuge, a majority-minority state where 27% of us are immigrants. The bill, AB 1766, was first introduced by Democratic Assemblyman Mark Stone in February. Last month, Newsom signed SB 836 by Senator Scott Wiener that prohibits disclosure of a person's immigration status in open court in a criminal case by any party unless approved by the judge.
Hackers attacked the Los Angeles Unified School District. Fortunately, no highly sensitive information was accessed.
Hackers have made a ransom demand following a cyber attack that targeted the nation's second-largest school district over the weekend. The Los Angeles Unified School District confirmed the attack on Wednesday. Superintendent Alberto Carvalho said a financial demand has been made by this entity. We have not responded to that demand. Because the extent of the hack was unknown at the beginning, it led to the protective move of a system-wide shutdown. District officials said that the attack temporarily interfered with the LAUSD website and email system. Carvalho told reporters that they are attempting to understand how the breach took place, but said, quote, "Usually these cases begin with some degree of a human failure." District officials said they immediately established a plan of action with cybersecurity professionals to provide protection in the future. The identity of the hackers has not been released, although some reports linked the attack to a cybercriminal syndicate known as the Vice Society.
The Los Angeles Transportation Agency and a county supervisor have been embroiled in an ongoing corruption case. After a recent probe by the county sheriff's office, the state attorney general would take over the investigation.
Attorney General Rob Bonta is taking over an investigation into allegations of political corruption against the LA Metropolitan Transportation Authority and County Supervisor Sheila Kuehl. Bonta confirmed the move in a letter sent to the LA County Sheriff's Department on September 20th. The investigation follows a Metro whistleblower's allegations that Kuehl contributed to awarding lucrative contracts to Peace Over Violence, a nonprofit organization run by her close friend Patricia Giggins. On September 14th, sheriff's investigators searched both Giggins and Kuehl's home and office, along with several other locations. Kuehl was notified by a court attorney before the search. Sheriff Alex Villanueva recused himself from any involvement in the investigation to avoid any appearance of conflict. But he sent a letter asking the Attorney General's office whether Inspector General Max Huntsman and the County Counsel's office had violated the law by notifying Kuehl of the search ahead of time.
Earlier this year, Los Angeles held its annual homeless count, but now the results are out. Some city council members are doubting the accuracy.
Some Los Angeles City Council members are calling for a third-party count of Los Angeles' unhoused population and a multi-year audit of the previous counts. Doubts about the count's accuracy comes after Council President Nury Martinez's office noted that trends were not consistent across council districts. Martinez introduced both motions to seek an evaluation of the effectiveness of LAHSA's count and a report with options on conducting a third-party point-in-time count. Similarly, Councilman Kevin De Leon said several council districts have been leading the city in creating housing, but those numbers were inconsistent with the point-in-time report. De Leon said, Angelinos deserve to see how those housing units are being filled and where unhoused residents are being placed. This year's count released earlier this month showed a 4.1% increase in the number of unhoused people in Los Angeles County and a 1.7% increase in LA since 2020. Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority has conducted point-in-time homeless counts every year since 2015, with the exception of last year due to pandemic-related policies.
The recent heat wave tested the reliability of California's renewable energy grid. Data gives a breakdown on how much non-renewable energy the state had to rely on to make up for electrical demand.
On the afternoon of September 6th, as California's residents and businesses were consuming over 51,000 megawatts of electricity, the grid was stretched to its limit. According to the U.S. Energy Information Association, or EIA, for the heat wave week, the state used at most 60% natural gas for its energy production. That number never dropped below 30%. The EIA said the other two predominant sources of energy were imports and hydroelectric during peak hours. The state system operator was prepared to start rolling outages to drop the power usage. Before the heat wave week, the state's energy mix was 40% low-carbon sources like wind, solar, and nuclear, along with 32% natural gas and 20% imports. California has for years spent its effort on the build-out of alternative forms of electricity production, with a particular emphasis on solar and wind power. Most forms of renewable electricity, including wind and solar, are intermittent. They aren't always available to meet demand. In contrast, dispatchable sources like natural gas, coal, and nuclear with an abundant supply of fuel in store may be dispatched as needed.
We are going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. Conservationists are looking to protect whales from a much more immediate threat than the usual environmental concerns: cargo ships. Representatives tell us about how they're protecting the marine mammals from the massive boats that frequent the ports on California shores. And drag racers gathered for an event in Sacramento, but also to spread awareness. They're working to warn their female friends and fellow drivers about a certain kind of cancer that targets only them. That and more on California Today. Organizations announced the extension of WhaleSafe, a technology-based mapping and analysis system to help prevent whale ship collisions. NTD's David Lam hears from some of the members behind the project.
There's been an ongoing effort to prevent whales from fatal ship strikes out at sea. At the end of August, Fran, the most photographed whale in California, washed up ashore. Researchers concluded that she suffered from a fatal ship strike. The Marine Mammal Center and the Benioff Ocean Science Laboratory announced a collaboration to bring a new mapping system to the San Francisco Bay, based on a model from Santa Barbara that launched in 2020. The SF Bay system launched last Wednesday.
The WhaleSafe system is an AI-powered near real-time whale detection system. It's the first of its kind in the Pacific Ocean, and it was primarily designed to help prevent collisions between whales and ships, which is one of the leading causes of death for endangered whales around the world.
Users can go to the website or platform, and it indicates the level of whale presence near the coast from low to very high. Rachel Rhodes, project scientist on the WhaleSafe team, says the detection system uses three main data inputs. The first is an AI-powered acoustic buoy,
which is essentially an underwater microphone that's listening to whales vocalizing to each other.
It uses an onboard AI system to assess and identify the whale species. The second component is a model that forecasts blue whales. It has a map to let you know if there are likely to be blue whales.
And then the third piece is the best computer of all of us. So we use sightings data collected by citizen scientists, naturalists, and researchers that are out on the water.
All three are put together into a visualization to provide situational awareness to the public and sailors. Whales help regulate the environment, and a director with the Marine Mammal Center says these mammals are critical.
They provide the base of the food chain, so everything that is small out there, they can produce through basically their pooping is the basis of life. And they can store as much carbon as 1,000 trees.
The director said one of the partners integrated the Santa Barbara data into their fleet management software, so they have the info right there at their fingertips. WhaleSafe cites that ships that slow down to 10 knots in areas with high whale presence significantly reduce danger to whales.
To slow down, especially when that rating is high or very high. So in the same way that slowing down in a school zone helps save lives, slowing down when whales are present helps save whales.
Rhodes says it's the most effective measure to reduce the number of deadly ship strikes. It gives whales a bit more time to get out of the way, and in the unfortunate case if they do get hit, it's less likely to be fatal.
For me, I think it's been just a long love of the ocean and all the wonders, and whales are just, one of the biggest kind of keystone charismatic species out there.
People can cause the biggest threats to whales, but we could also be their biggest champions. And I am proud to bring a tool forward that could help reduce the risk of whale strike with ships.
Rhodes and George say the team will continue outreach to shipping companies and the public with hopes of expansion. Their system was built to be scalable to other locations. David Lam, NTD News, California.
Drag racing. It's loud, it's fast, and it's also about the family and community. Drag racers in California told NTD's Daniel Hall more about the sport and how they're bringing awareness to the cancer that's affecting the women in their community.
What could be better than following one's passion all while helping other people? That's what these drag racers are doing right behind me, raising money to fight ovarian cancer. Drivers sped down the track at the Sacramento Raceway Park in Northern California on Saturday. Racers made their donation to the Ovarian Cancer Coalition of Northern California. Dee Mitchell, a cancer survivor and president of the OCC, received the donation.
Because the guys work so hard to try to learn about ovarian cancer for their women, I came up with another slogan for the men that says, "Real men support ovarian cancer."
Mitchell says she met the drag racers about 5 years ago. She says the racers wanted to help her organization and bring awareness to the track.
It's breathtaking to know that I do have, me and other women have guys such as Nick and the other guys, Shiloh and them, to come out and really push on the track about ovarian cancer awareness.
September is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. And that's what the community wanted to spread, awareness.
Most importantly is the recognition of the Ovarian Cancer Coalition and the openness of the West Coast NA class to have a community outreach, which is not common in the drag race community. In addition to that, it's about the diversity as well as the big family orientation of the West Coast NA 10.5 race class.
That race class that Charisma mentioned specifies certain engine sizes and characteristics, as well as track quality. The event was specific to American-made cars.
I'm looking for this guy right here, though.
Who is he?
Butch Leal, a 12-time winner of the National Hot Rod Association and nicknamed the California Flash, made an appearance at the event.
Oh, it's a wonderful thing to have. I mean, if you can look around and all the Chrysler cars, it's amazing how nice it is. And it's a good time for everybody, you know.
And strictly for documentation purposes, this reporter took a ride in a 1969 Plymouth Barracuda. The driver, Sacramento local Johnny Michaels, was kind enough to add some extra weight for that run down the track.
It's a blast to have a super lot of fun. They're always trying to chase a number, and I don't know, the camaraderie of everybody around here. It's great.
One of the event organizers, Shiloh Davies, confirmed that competitive spirit in racers is simply human nature.
So drag racing, since the beginning, when people rode horses, they wanted to see who had the fastest horse. When the horse started towing a wagon, they wanted to see who had the fastest wagon. Now here we are today, 2022. We're out trying to see who has the fastest car. Powered by gasoline today, and I'm sure by electric in the near future.
Davies added that while racers are fierce competitors with one another when they're on the track, they're best of friends everywhere else. Daniel Hall, NTD News, Sacramento, California.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup. Barry Bonds would welcome Yankee slugger Aaron Judge, breaking his single-season record of 73 home runs he set with the San Francisco Giants in 2001. Judge hit his Major League leading 60th home run on Tuesday, tying the mark set by Yankees great Babe Ruth, and is now one big swing shy of Roger Maris's 61-year-old American League record. With just 13 games remaining in the season, it is unlikely Judge will challenge Bonds' record this year, but the 30-year-old could very well make a run at it in the years to come. Bonds, who holds the career home run record with 762, said, quote, "Go for it," in a recent interview. A massive bidding war for Judge's services is expected at the end of the season when he becomes a free agent after he declined a 7-year, $213.5 million extension from the Yankees prior to the start of this season. Home Run King Bonds said he hoped the Stockton, California native Aaron Judge, who grew up rooting for Bonds and the Giants, will be persuaded to swap his Yankee pinstripes for San Francisco's black and orange. He would prefer to keep the spotlight on Judge, who has said he believes Bonds' record of 73 home runs in a season is completely legitimate. The Jaguars' James Robinson ran for 100 yards, including a 50-yard scoring dash early in the third quarter, and visiting Jacksonville rolled to a victory over injury-plagued Los Angeles in Inglewood, California. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence threw for 262 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Zay Jones caught 10 passes for 85 yards and a score. Christian Kirk and Marvin Jones Jr. also caught TD passes. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert was 25 of 45 for 297 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception while playing through a rib injury. Star defensive end Joey Bosa left in the first quarter with a groin injury and did not return for LA. Left tackle Rashawn Slater left in the third quarter with a biceps injury. Jaguars 38, Chargers 10. Matthew Stafford threw for 249 yards. The Los Angeles defense held Arizona to 4 field goals, leading to the Rams' win in Glendale, Arizona. Rams running back Cam Akers rushed for 61 yards on 12 carries, including a key 14-yard touchdown run late in the third quarter. Aaron Donald led the defense with 2 tackles for a loss and a sack, the 100th of his NFL career. Quarterback Kyler Murray completed 37 of 58 passes for 314 yards for Arizona as the Rams improved to 2-1. Rams 20, Cardinals 12. Melvin Gordon ran for a touchdown. Russell Wilson was 20 for 33 passing for 184 yards, and host Denver beat San Francisco. Cortland Sutton had 8 catches for 97 yards, and Javonte Williams ran for 58 for Denver, which used a safety to beat the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo was 18 for 29 passing for 211 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Brandon Ayuk had a TD catch, and Jeff Wilson rushed for 75 yards, but fumbled in the final minutes for the Niners. The 49ers had 2 late chances to score, but Garoppolo threw an interception at the Denver 41 with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left. After San Francisco forced a punt, Garoppolo hit Jeff Wilson over the middle, but he fumbled, and the Broncos recovered. Broncos 11, 49ers 10. And that's all for the sports.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.